The Spanish Announce Table.
Whew, Tom, it is episode 349 of the Spanish Announce Table, and what a week of pro wrestling. I can't even tell you, it was one of the most anticipated nights of pro wrestling, I think, since WrestleMania 30, and I think it was one of the most delivered on pay-per-views in decades.
Incredible. Everything about this past weekend in pro wrestling was absolutely off the charts fun.
It was great.
Saturday night, we'll get into. There was some fun dealings with GCW. Sunday night, AEW does All Out. In my opinion, maybe, I don't want to have recency bias because it's easy to do that, prisoner of the moment. Right now is the best thing that have ever happened to me right now, right? Like, you got to have perspective and context. But if it's not the best pay-per-view of all time, it's top 3. I've always said, Tim, my favorite pay-per-view of all time, hands down, SummerSlam 02. You have Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio. You have Shawn Michaels coming back against Triple H in a street fight. You have Brock Lesnar versus The Rock in the main event. And there's so much other stuff, but that's just the highlights of that event. That, personally, to me, my favorite event of all time. AEW All Out 2021. Ooh, I tell you what, I think I got to push 02 down a slot. I don't know. Again, I'm going to watch it back again and all the fun stuff. And, maybe I'll make a top 5 for some content on the YouTube channel of my 5 favorite pay-per-views. But with all that being said, AEW All Out 2021, spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, forgive me. I'm over here live tweeting out that we are live now. Anybody that's listening to this on the podcast, man, you need to get hip with the times. Get hip with the times. We're live on YouTube when we do this things Thursday nights. Right now, maybe that'll change in the future. Who knows? We'll keep you posted.
And another thing that I think that needs to be applauded for your hard work about the YouTube channel is you pick great backgrounds. Oh. Look at the background behind us. Yeah. The images each and every week. Fun fact, I have no decision making in that. I just come in and Tim surprises me. And each week I am pleasantly surprised. Right now we got Adam Cole getting the smooches from the rest of the Elite members. Just great.
Fun fact, and we are not, we don't know much about this rubber band Bullet Club, pew pew, jerk off circle that these guys do, and not trying to denigrate them on some of their best performances that I've seen here. More on that, but I think when they turned on Adam Cole back in the old Bullet Club Elite whatever days, this is how they kind of gave him the send off, right? The double kiss as he's getting his ass beat, right? Like, so I think this was like a mocking of that.
So. Yeah, we'll get to I'll save my thoughts for when we talk about Adam Cole.
Of course.
But we do this weird thing in pro wrestling where we remember one thing, but if we want to keep in kayfabe land, we got to remember the other thing, and I feel like we don't ever remember the other thing. But anyhow, we'll get to that later. But Tim, we're riding sky high on an amazing pro wrestling weekend. Now let's get that money update. Let's go to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Tom, I'm happy to announce, many, many moons ago now, we joined in and we purchased some MJF coin. MJF said, hey, I'm making a cryptocurrency. It's better than you, and you know it. You should buy it. And we thought, motherfucker, this guy's right. He's fucking better than us, and we know it, so we should get this dough. Get this bread, get this money. And we did that, and it plummeted. However, last couple of weeks, it's been on an uptrend, and Tom, I'm happy to tell you that it's continuing. We're up 8% this week. Still down 70% overall, but that's a 2% gain, which is still positive. 8% up this week, Tom.
I love it. I tell you what, each and every week, it seems like you're giving me more positive news. I'm going to go get more cars, more houses, all the fun stuff.
And all of y'all can buy in now and see where you go off there. It's on the Rally coin. Just Google it. MJF, He's good about that. He's better than you, and you know it, so you should just
I will say, though, he needs to talk about it more. I feel like we had an initial splash of the MJF coin, and then he kind of sidestepped it. Let's talk about it again.
Yeah, Jericho's been getting in the way, I think.
Oh, man, Jericho. Boy, oh, boy, do we have some opinions on that match at All Out. But I am happy that we have momentum, traction in the right direction for this MJF coin. Speaking of MJF and all other things pro wrestling, let's get into our favorite segment of the week. Again, for longtime listeners, we're switching up the format. We're doing this first because we want you to be heard. You tell us the topics, we will react to it, and then we'll give you some quick hits on the way out. But of course, this is hashtag tweet the table. If you don't know what hashtag tweet the table is, go on Twitter. I think you could even go on Facebook. We can try that out too. Why not? Because hashtags work there now as well. Use hashtag tweet the table. Share any and every wrestling thought. Obviously, most of these this week is going to be on brand in recent wrestling matches. But if you're watching a Great Muta versus Hulk Hogan in New Japan, tweet it. Let us know. Like, give us some more context. You can't just say an amazing power slam by Scott Norton, and then we're like, well, what the fuck? So you got to help us out. But any and every wrestling thought you got, share with us.
Love it.
Was Fire and Ice the most underrated tag team in WCW history? I don't know. Tell us.
Even the more off the wall, the better in some regards, because you know what I mean? You might get more tweets on this show if you're talking about stuff nobody else is talking about.
Oh, and you might have us, there's little nuggets of memories and hot takes up here that I'm ready to get out. It's on you to get that out of my brain and then out of my mouth.
Tom's mental health is your responsibility, is what we're saying. So you should use hashtag tweet the table, keep him in a good mood so that I don't have to deal with him when he's in a bad mood. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's all I need. I need help from everybody. We also need help in keeping the lights on in this thing. So head on over to SpanishAnnounceTable.net. You can donate. You can buy some merch. The links are all there. Check that out. But you use hashtag tweet the table on Twitter, like Tom said, and we're going to talk about it right here. We're going to kick this one off. Tom, a great, amazing weekend of wrestling and a great guy. We're going to start this one off with, at the Rebel Trucker, Big Josh. He says, hashtag tweet the table. Wrestling shows like that give me all the warm and fuzzy feels. What a night of professional wrestling. Hashtag AEW All Out. And okay, let's get an overview before we dig into some of these minor topics here. AEW All Out, we did address it as kind of part of the intro, but man, the anticipation, like all day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm see All Out, and like I'm getting all excited, and then like I'm in place early, and I've got my computer up so we can be live tweeting and stuff. Like, it was the event of since we've done this show, I feel like.
Yes, I would definitely agree. I would say this is the biggest event in our show's history, and it's the most fun that we've had with a pro wrestling event in the show's history. And I agree with you. I felt as if it was a WrestleMania from my childhood.
Oh, man.
I would say it was on the same level but different emotions as 2 years ago, well, actually even last year's Super Bowl, where I'm anticipating it. I have a time set where this set of hours is going to be set aside for this moment, for this event, and I'm going to make sure that I am doing that event. Tom, with sports.
Well, before you get into that, lucky for you, you're going to get to experience that again in February.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to keep it going, boy. Woo, we ain't. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hashtag take it back tour. We're getting that championship. Tom Brady, we're going to break your fucking leg.
Fucking Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
No, we're not going to break your leg, but we are going to beat you. But what I was going to say there is it just obviously with a sporting event, it's different because you're going to get stories out of pro wrestling. You could get a dud, right? You can get a 3-0 game. That fucking sucks. But so it was different emotions, but that same anticipation of
yes,
I am going to make sure to watch this. Now, the event itself, I sent you a message where unprovoked, you didn't ask me like, hey, how are you experiencing All Out? I just sent it to you out of the blue. Yeah. I damn near cried.
Yeah.
After the tag team match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. And it wasn't even because of that match. It was the whole pay-per-view up until that point. It was the Eddie Kingston. Well, yeah, it was the Eddie Kingston Miro. It was a John Moxley match, and then Suzuki coming out afterwards. Then it was the tag team match in the steel cage. And just everything was rolling on such a high that I was like, I haven't felt this joy in so long from pro wrestling.
Event. Yeah,
it was so
an amazing event. And yeah, I agree with you all the way, especially leading up to that moment and that the pay-per-view could have ended at the tag team match and we would have been like, that was an amazing pay-per-view. Right? Like we were already like, wow, you did it, guys.
Yeah.
You did it. And then we were looking down. We were like, holy shit, we still have like all the big matches on the card. And it was great. Oh, so great. I loved it. Yeah.
You give us Penta kissing his kid and then running up to the entrance ramp, and you could have ran credits and I would have gave you a 10 out of 10. It was so much fun. Yeah, so great. Loved it so much.
All right, back to hashtag Truth the Table once again. We do these. We are the voice of the voiceless. We are the podcast of the people. We give you the stage to start this show. We give you the microphone. You tell us what to talk about. You're the producer, and you do that by using hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter right here like Kitty. First Lady says, Miro's chest made my chest hurt, though not as bad as Kingston's nuts. Hashtag Tweet the Table. Oh, God, let's talk about the match.
Well, yes. So this match was the perfect match to start the pay-per-view. Obviously, you had the buy-in match with Jurassic Express and the Best Friends taking on the Hardy Family Office. That was, again, served its purpose, got the crowd ready for some fun stuff. We got singing in, we got all the fun stuff. But then to kick off the pay-per-view, the anticipation like we were talking about, I don't think there was a better match to start off the pay-per-view. Eddie Kingston coming out, getting a pop that should be deserved for world champions, and then Miro walking out just like a stud, and both guys playing their part to a T. I loved everything about this. The visuals that they were giving us even before they locked up was great, where you had Miro standing on the second rope, presenting his championship as if God was at the altar and he was presenting this to him. And then Eddie Kingston staring a hole through his chest saying, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. And the ref having to kind of push Eddie back to say, we haven't started yet. And then we get the lockup, and then we get the chops, and then we get the suplexes. And this was physical. It had all the elements that I loved.
Suplex.
Whatever. Call it whatever you want. Call it the Eddie Kingston.
Can we talk about also, as a little sidebar here, Eddie Kingston on commentary on Elevation is
so good.
So good. I love it. He's got to get the last word. Like he's giving everybody shit. Like he's just digging into everybody. He's having the time of his life doing that commentary, and it's so fun. You feel like you're best friends with him. You are he's your best friend.
Well, it feels so relaxed that you feel like you're seeing something genuine. You're not hearing Eddie Kingston being told what to say from someone else. This is just Eddie Kingston. Hey, they gave him a microphone. Let's see what he thinks about Dante Martin, right? And so that's what makes it so fun. But going back to this rivalry, it looks like as we we're going to be ping-ponging around here as we advance a little bit forward to Dynamite. It looks like they're going to continue this feud. We had Eddie Kingston say, hey, you fought me like a man until you low-blowed me with the ref not looking. And then Miro saying, I deserve to give my wife broken bones and God, his justice or whatever it was. And so it looks like we're going to keep going with this feud, which sign me up. Give me a best of 7. I think this is amazing. This match, perfect blend of styles. Eddie Kingston with that Japanese style with the fast, slaps to the chest, and then Miro with a more WWE style and big moves and playing to the crowd. It just blended perfectly. Love these two guys
and
together.
It seems like we're going to continue.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Flash forward. Yeah, I love it.
Yes. Yeah. So I am just so excited about everything that they're doing here. And you know what? The right man won because Miro's still undefeated. Eddie Kingston, let's be honest, could lose his next 10 matches in a row. And then you say he's getting a world championship shot. And we're like, yeah, totally cool with me.
Totally understandable.
So, yeah. So I thought the right guy won. And I liked, there were so many little aspects that I also really enjoyed. For example, Eddie Kingston getting out of the camel clutch or whatever, the game over, I think is what Miro calls it, but getting out of that. And it was the illegal blow that was, the nail in the coffin. I like that storytelling. Again, 10 out of 10.
And that Eddie Kingston would have had a 3 count were the ref not there in time. That was the first of 2 written in ref boxes.
The refs. Right? The refs. Yeah. Bryce Rensburg, I think is his name. Fuck that. I wanted to punch him after this match. Because, why all of a sudden do you care that turnbuckles are now, all up on the shit, right? You cost Eddie the match, and you're friends with Eddie. We know that. You've been told us. You told us this on air, like on TV, that you guys are friends. So what the fuck, Bryce? You asshole.
Come on, Bryce. What a dick. Bryce is a dick. Maybe that's the episode name?
Maybe.
Let's go to at AUC Kata, who says, and despite that awkward Jericho entrance, the crowd still gets to sing Judas, hashtag all out, hashtag tweet the table. So much bad with this, right? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. On paper, everything was good. Because you say, if this is Jericho's last match, he wants to be played out by his guitarist from Fozzy. Totally fine, right? Like, you say that as the pitch, and I'm going to buy into that. But this guitarist was like, hey, this is my moment to shine. So guess what, motherfuckers? In the middle of the song that the people are trying to sing. You don't do the solos when the people are trying to get their shit in, right? And so he kind of big-timed the intro, which then made everyone going, Judas in my
Yeah, it was bad.
mind. Like,
they lost
bad.
the beat, couldn't get it back. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't helping, right? Yeah.
Not good. But
and then just even, what did we do all this for?
Well,
with that
hold
stipulation?
Hold on. Before we get to that, as we're still talking about intros, let's talk about MJF's intro, which got everyone. They do the old school Y2J countdown.
I loved it. Yeah.
They do the pop, and then it's Jericho's last match, and he walks out, and they just boo him. MJF is just on an all-time high with heel.
The best heel.
Let's fast forward a little bit after this match, where Jericho does beat MJF. We get MJF cutting that cheap heat promo on Cincinnati, and then on the Pillmans. That was the closest to an Attitude Era promo that I can remember on TV.
I mean, he was talking about swallowing. He was talking about abortions. He was talking about
meth heads, drug addictions, and just everything.
Oh, and credit Pillman for like launching at him to the ring when he did that, right? Like that gave it like real heat feel, right? Like, bitch, I will fucking kill you.
And then, I don't know if you caught this, but the cherry on the top of this promo for me was how Wardlow, when Brian Pillman Jr. does run into the ring, Wardlow gets in the middle of it, and MJF is like, oh, you're going to stop this just like you stopped Jericho at All Out? Oh!
And I think MJF's the guy who gets it. Like, he's going to plant these seeds for when Wardlow finally does. Like, they've got tape trail now of 3 or 4 times he's done this. You get a few more, like, you can have a whole minute montage of him just, piece of shit. And you sprinkle him in once every, 2-3 months where it doesn't feel like, okay, it's coming now. But then, in a year from now, if you want to pull that trigger, you've got 20 examples.
Of course. Yeah, because we've been told that Wardlow does not get paid from Tony Khan. He gets paid from MJF. We've been told that MJF doesn't really think that he has his best interest at heart, that Wardlow maybe wants the spotlight. And then we get you're not really here for me, pal. So, yeah, we've got all these little breadcrumbs to an eventual Wardlow face turn, which I am here for. And you know who else is here for it? Jim Ross. Jim Ross has the biggest crush on Wardlow. Every single time Wardlow just, rears back for a punch, Jim Ross is calling him the future of AEW, the face of the new era, all this stuff. He loves him so much. I mean, rightfully so, but still, I just find that interesting. Now, let's reset. Go back to the match. As you mentioned, we have a stipulation here at All Out. Jericho, MJF. If Jericho loses, his in-ring career is done. He's going to the commentary booth. We think for a second it actually happens because we get a 3 count where Aubrey Edwards does not see the foot on the rope. We get the bell ringing.
So that was my thing. I was like, second ref watch, why'd they book it this way? And then I thought, oh man, are they going to have this play out where Jericho comes back? He's like, but I didn't get beat, and then we still continue it. And then they hooked me on all of that, right?
Yeah, especially because they played the music, they rang the bell. It wasn't one of those, it's a 3, and then wait a minute. Before I announce the winner, I got a, conference with this other ref. It was, no, we thought it was done. And then the ref comes down because there was refs ringside because of Wardlow and Jake Hager brawling to the back. And then the second ref was like, hey, I see that foot on the rope. Jericho actually didn't get pinned. And then we get Jericho with the victory. And
but here's another thing. Like, I hate the idea of another ref comes out, we restart this match, because every pro wrestling fucking match.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you legitimately wanted to do that, you could have done that with the first match, where you could have said, Miro low-blowed Eddie Kingston, let's restart the match. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, but also, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, right? We could obviously split hairs with 9 million things. It was...
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of other, actual real-world examples of things like that happening. You know what I mean? Does that happen much in the MMA world where another official comes out and is like, hey, listen, you got this wrong, you missed it. You know what I mean?
Not comes out, but, obviously in between rounds, the ref will say to the active ref, hey, you need to watch out. He's leading with his hands. He might finger poke him, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But there's no rounds in pro wrestling.
Well, there's no overturning a decision because they're like, no, you got that wrong.
Right.
They're not coming into it. And you don't see that in baseball. Now, you might see later people vacating wins and shit, but you never see them come out and be like, no, we're going to run the ninth inning back because you missed that he got tagged. Yeah. So we're just going to restart it and redo it. People would lose their shit.
Yeah, I agree. Now, so let's talk about the result. So Jericho wins. And I think if you are just a casual fan and this is your first time watching AEW, it's a great moment in the moment, right? Jericho wins. He gets a win over that dastardly heel MJF, right? But like you said, what were we doing with all this? And then, even more so, a thing they actually did that I enjoyed on Dynamite, we didn't see Jericho this week. Pretty good little break from Jericho. But then MJF just moves on to, I guess, Brian Pillman Jr. We're going to get that match at the Arthur Ashe Stadium on the 22nd of September. And that's fine, and that's great. And let's move to another direction, right? I'm ready for this to split between Jericho and MJF. But I don't really know if MJF and Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be that thing that says, this is what I want to see out of MJF. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty big step back from Jericho. So, I don't know. It's interesting. And then what does Jericho do, right? So Jericho does get the victory, but if you're still playing pro wrestling math, it's 3-1 MJF. Is he going to want to get to 3 or 4? I don't want to see that.
Yeah, to me, in any rankings, you're still ranking MJF higher than Jericho even after a victory, right? So, I don't know what they do here. I don't see how any one of them goes and has anything as meaningful as they had before, which is not uncommon of any major big blow-off, but, it just sometimes usually one person's kind of strapped to go further, but you can't do that here.
Well, so this is what I was kind of alluding to earlier, though, is, if you wanted to split off MJF and Jericho, which I think is happening and is definitely welcomed, maybe let's shotgun then the Wardlow MJF feud, right? That feels elevated to a level where
you could have even started here at the event.
That's what I'm saying.
The reason.
Right, and that's where we could have started, where then MJF is obviously taking a step back because MJF in a feud with Jericho is obviously going to be bigger than MJF in a feud with Wardlow, but we may have a better story with Wardlow. I just don't know what we're going to do with Brian Pillman Jr. And no offense to him, but he's been on elevation the majority of the year, it feels like. And so, I don't know. As a singles competitor, that's just not that appealing to me. But MJF, bought me in with the meth comments and the abortion comments and the dick sucking comments and
Methany.
Methany and all that. And then talking about Linda and, coming out. He called Brian Pillman's sister, who was pregnant, 16 and pregnant.
Yeah.
It was just great. He's awesome.
He is not.
I hate him.
Yeah. He's not pulling any punches. It's crazy.
I forget the line that he said to Sammy Guevara when he said something to the effect of he looked like a high school drug dealer or something. But that was the last time that he gave me a line that made me pop. And that whole promo, I had to watch again because I was like, he said all of that. He said all of that.
Yeah, any one of those sprinkled in a promo, he could have got 4 out of those.
Oh, yeah.
It was just,
absolutely incredible.
God.
So let's see what happens. But I'm positive and patient. I'll say that. I like that we're getting new talent in, right? Because it's not MJF and Dustin Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? So at least we're going with the youth movement. I'll say that, but I don't know, you know.
Well, speaking of the youth movement, a reminder before we jump into that, use hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter, and you'll be part of the show just like everybody here. And it's fun. You get to meet people, and you get to talk about wrestling, and we give you a voice to the world. At Hallmark of Swede, who may or may not be the chairman, Sean Spears, says, hashtag Tweet the Table. Christian Cage is in tremendous shape. There is no denying that. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he suffers from a severe case of old man ass. And, well, I mean, hey, man, he's an old man. He's going to have some old man ass.
Yeah. Well, if we're judging him physically, objectively, I don't know if he's ever had the Larry Fitzgerald ass. You know what I mean? Like,
he's always
not
been
known for the bottom half.
He's had some really
long
legs that end at his back. You know?
Yeah.
I mean?
So, as you get older, that's gonna happen, right? And so, I don't know if he had the thunder thighs and the booty that makes all the people turn their heads.
You know what? I mean, we can't all be chiseled studs like Sean's Hallmark of Swede.
Yeah.
Here, you know what I mean? Like,
I bet you he sent that tweet from a chair.
I bet he was a model.
Oh, Hallmark of Swede?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a good-looking person.
Yeah.
What a good-looking person. He's the person I think I look like when I look in the mirror. He is a credit to you, Sean. I mean, Hallmark.
Sean Spears. Yeah.
You are one good-looking
Sean
fella.
Spears.
Yeah, not Sean Spears. You are a good-looking fella.
All right. Join us. See, this is the kind of fun we have on hashtag Tweet the Table. If you're not playing along, you're just wrong. If you're not playing along, you're wrong.
There it is. That's the show title.
All right. Here's one we haven't heard from in a while. It's at Mr. Fourth Row says, Kenny Omega with the Urkel. Did I do that? Hashtag Tweet the Table. And yeah, that's what these guys are good at, right? The pop culture references and stuff.
And the stuff that makes you roll your eyes, right? Because he does the move where he jumps off the ring apron and does a double foot stomp on Christian with a table sitting on top of him. And you think, like, that's badass. And that's where you could do a Finn Balor look up. That's where you could do an RVD, finger poke, look at how cool I am. But he goes nerdy Steve Urkel, where you're like, really, man? Like, that's what we're going to go with is the Urkel. And it makes you roll your eyes. But that's what it's supposed to do because he's the heel. So I like the spot and I like the comment. But also, by the way, Kenny Omega, are we not going to talk about his blue hair all of a sudden? What the fuck is with this?
Heel stuff, man.
But he's not matching his clothes.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming out in yellow jackets. It's like, what the fuck is happening here?
Well, when they're sitting around playing video games, they have somebody dye their hair, Tom.
I guess. I get what, and they are so
you're doing
obnoxious.
your Twitch stream.
By the way, did you see on Dynamite, Nick Jackson's fucking nose ring connected to his earring with the stupid 90s
the Shawn
chain?
Michaels thing, right?
Oh,
like he did that one.
Good night. I don't know, but this was obnoxious. Obnoxious.
Kenny Omega, I will say, had one of the funnest tweets of the week when Adam Cole, who supposedly part of his WWE negotiations were that they did not want him to maintain control of his Twitch account, and he was like, F that. I'm doing that. And so then he's like, after he's with AEW, he's like, hey, everybody join me on the Twitch. And Kenny Omega tweets out, he's like, this is going to be awkward about the Twitch thing. Check your DMs, right? Like, so fun. Like, they that's the thing.
They get it.
That's the thing that WWE misses now is, like, that's what we mean when you're out of touch. Like, they couldn't make a joke like that to save their life.
Nope.
No, it just wouldn't happen.
They don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's beneath them. They're up in a stratosphere where their jokes are about deals that they close in the 11th hour, and we're talking about stuff on television that we enjoy watching, and you're not getting the connection here. So,
Mr. Fourth Row, man.
But Mr. Fourth Row, great to hear from you, man.
You know what? You know where you can find him?
In the fourth row.
Fourth fucking row, baby. What did I say? If you're not playing along,
I forgot what you said. Yeah.
If you're not playing along, you're wrong. We'll see.
There it is.
Let me write all that.
And by the way, Mr. Fourth Row, keep up with those bike rides, man. I follow you on Twitter and Facebook, and I see those long ass bike rides. Credit to you, man. Keep it up. Look at this. We're complimenting you as you hashtag tweet the table. Huh? Name another podcast that does that. None of them.
None of them. At Ash Hendricks 92 says, Punk still has it. Hashtag tweet the table. I mean, yeah, I think Punk still has it in that, like, I'm like, yeah, he kicked the guy in the calf a couple times, you know, does a couple of well choreographed switcheroos.
I think, well, so let's be honest, and we talked about this back when he left WWE and he was going into mixed martial arts. He's not coordinated. I don't think you're ever going to, you know, one of the attributes of Punk isn't going to be in-ring coordination. He kind of has two left feet.
Athletic specimen.
Right. He kind of has two left feet, and that's okay, right? What I will say that he does perfectly in the match is he has the presence and the mind to involve the fans. You know,
yes.
He does, right? Some basic kind of moves, which again is, look, Hulk Hogan's one of my all-time favorites. He was the king of basic moves.
But that's what Hogan was doing. Like, he would know when to, like, make the crowd do stuff.
And Punk to a lesser extent, he doesn't ham it up like the Hogans did in the 80s and stuff like that. But he has that presence to, like, hey, this is going to be a moment where we need to slow it down for the cameras or for the crowd. So I like that about him.
He knows exactly when to do the strategic pause.
Yes. I like that. That was good. Look at you.
Yeah.
We're on fire tonight.
Right?
We are on fire.
Right.
And Ash. It's great to hear from you, man.
Yeah, it's been yes. Love this.
Love it.
Hashtag tweet the table. Be part of the community. Right? Can't go out and be a part of the community too much in this day and age with COVID running wild, right? So be a part of our digital community here.
There it is. Yep.
We're all vaccinated here on Tweet the Table. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, let's get into that a little bit because I don't know if we're going to talk more about the outcome, but Punk wins and Darby Allin loses, right?
Yeah.
And so CM Punk then goes out on Dynamite and was like, hey, that was great. I had so much fun. First thing my wife asked, though, is what's next? And so he's like, so what do you all think's next? I hear some Moxley. I hear some, I've Sammy Guevara, I think, or something like that. And then Taz is like, don't you say our name. Don't you say it.
I know. It's like, nobody said your name. He's like, but you have been.
You have, which he has,
yes,
right? Like,
of course. Taz isn't lying. Right, yeah.
Taz isn't lying, but the timing was not great. It was the one time where Taz is one of the coolest wrestlers in the history of wrestling, right? The aura, the arms folded, the scowl, all of that. And this one, he looked like Angry Joe.
Hey, listen,
lost on his front lawn.
With All Out and all of the greatness it was and how fun Dynamite is, one of the highlights of the week for me is Taz singing along to Ruby Soho.
Well, that, you know, the secret ingredient to all of these licensed songs that AEW is using is Taz sings it to get it over. Because if you recall, the first time Jungle Boy walks out to Tarzan Boy, it's Taz going like, oh, I love this song. And everyone pops because Taz breaks his tough man mentality to say, like, I like 80s music. And then we're like, okay, so do we. Yeah. And we're into it, right? And so Rancid, you know, mid-90s kind of punk,
very poppy sound.
Yeah, punk ska kind of thing. And Taz again is like, yeah, Ruby Soho. And just like, yes. And that's what's fun. And by the way, that song has been stuck in my head since Sunday night.
Oh, I know. Oh,
Destination. Oh, no. Ruby Soho.
I mean, back in the day, I probably rocked that song way too much.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
way too much.
Oh, every emo party that you go to, you know, hey, girl, it's going to be okay. I understand. I'm depressed, too. Ruby Soho. Yeah, you just play that song. You know what I mean? That's how you get them. Huh?
That's how you get them, huh? That's how you get them. That's all it takes.
Look at this. On our YouTube live stream, you got some air drums from me, and you got some dating advice.
Great advice. If anybody's thinking of taking that advice, DM me first so I can clarify what he said for you.
4 times out of 20, it works every time. Yep. So what's the next hashtag tweet the table?
You said 420. At Devil Vamp says, Tony Khan has been successful at bringing Japanese strong style to the Americas. That is a huge fucking deal. Hashtag tweet the table. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. And I mean, hey, it's vicious style. I'm a fan.
Oh, and it does expose you to some of that Japanese style that you may not be familiar with, right? So obviously, American pro wrestling fans who are, dialed into the hardcore wrestling, who may not watch the Japanese wrestling, they've heard of Minoru Suzuki, but then you know who Suzuki is when he walks out and the entire crowd is singing his song, and then Jon Moxley selling it like he just saw a ghost. That's the other key part there, is when that music hit after his match, Jon Moxley stands up and is like, say what? What in the fuck? And so that's where you're like, okay, I guess Suzuki is a big deal. I've heard his name, but I've also heard Tanahashi and Ibushi and, Ishii and all these other names. But like, I guess Suzuki's a bad motherfucker. And then again, fast forward to Dynamite. Yeah, he is. We learned that for sure. And so is Jon Moxley. Great match at All Out and a great match at Dynamite. I feel like the feud of the year, we got some contenders, right? You could say MJF, Chris Jericho. You could say Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, because again, the year's not over. I think we got something coming up with that. But in contention, Jon Moxley versus Japan, it's up there. It's like, fuck that country. I want to fight all the wrestling from there. Yeah. Yeah, I want all of them. I want all your Japanese wrestlers, and I'm going to beat them all. And he has so far. Yeah, Jon Moxley versus Japan. That should be the shirt. You know how it says like Kansas City versus everybody? It should just say Jon Moxley versus Japan.
Well, I tell you what, that's some great news to hear. I tell you what, that was really scary there for a moment, but then he got some deals. He got 3-for-1 shirts, and then he got remission. And that's what you do when you're Don West.
Look at that, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, and here's another thing that you can know as a social cue. If I'm not drinking beer, then we didn't have a beer sponsor of the week. So if you're watching the YouTube channel and you see me drinking water, it's because we don't have a beer sponsor. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Reverse psychology.
We're the best. Okay.
Love it.
The best.
The best.
The best.
Now we sound like Ortiz from Santana and Ortiz, which, real quick note, because I don't know if we're going to talk about them, but they got a quick promo on Dynamite where they alluded to, like, we're going after the championships again. Santana and Ortiz versus the Lucha Bros. Huh?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, that's money.
That's what we need. Some Santana and
wait.
Ortiz. Although I want them to win the titles at some point. But
That's what I like. I think if the Lucha Bros lose the championships, it needs to be to Santana and Ortiz, and then we get the mega push up to what they should be. Because remember, when they came out in the presidential mask and they beat up the Young Bucks, that crowd went crazy for them. And we need that again. That's the Santana and Ortiz we need. Get them back to that level. Lucha Bros, Santana and Ortiz, sign me up.
I love it. And yeah, it's good for Don West. Cancer free.
Oh, of course. And yes, good homage to him by plugging her own shit here. I hope you guys enjoyed my crappy impersonation of him. And it's good to hear, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's great. No one wants to get bad news like that, and so I'm glad to see that he got turned around on a good corner here, and we're doing well.
All right, so back to at Katie First Lady says, so it's interesting the direction Punk and Bryan are going right now, where Punk is, at least for now, working with another young talent, and Bryan's already in the title picture. What do you guys think? Hashtag AEW Dynamite, hashtag Tweet the Table. I kind of like that they're doing something different from each other, so yeah.
Yeah. It felt like we've got some history that we got to get to here in a little bit. When CM Punk was talking about who showed up at All Out, he mentions Ruby Soho, he mentions Adam Cole, but then he says Bryan Danielson, and he takes a quick little pause and just stares at the camera. And we know their history from Ring of Honor to WWE and now into AEW, right? So we're gonna get there. What I like is two things. One, it's not the same story where it's like Daniel Bryan, or excuse me, I gotta get out of that habit here. Bryan Danielson. It's not that we're doing Bryan Danielson works with Jungle Boy and CM Punk works with Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, one does have to go to the championship, right? We're calling these guys the best in the world. They can't just be eluding Kenny Omega the entire time. So
Daniel Bryan was in main event world title storylines at WWE. It would stand to reason.
Daniel Bryan main evented WrestleMania this year.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it would make sense that he would come over.
Any company he goes to, he's right now a legit world title contender.
And of the two, he's the more active one. So if you're breaking kayfabe
That's what I
for a
mean.
second,
Yeah, Punk's been gone 7 years. He has to kind of climb the ladder.
Yeah, and we also breaking kayfabe. We don't know if he can go, right? He proved it with Darby Allin, but with Kenny Omega, that's a different style of match. We know Bryan Danielson can do it. Let's see if CM Punk can. So I like that they're staying away from each other, but that they're there, but for two different reasons. Because CM Punk said, I want to work with the young talent. And then Bryan Danielson in his post match conference, he was like, I want to kick all these guys' heads in. Like, I'm not here for the future.
Yeah.
I'm here for right now. Love it.
All right. Well, let's see if you love this. At AUC Canna says, how many times have we had Rollins versus Cesaro this year? Hashtag Smackdown, hashtag Tweet the Table. That's something AEW does not do, right? We do not get these like repeat match after repeat match after repeat match after repeat match 7 weeks in a row. There legit was one time where it was, I forget who the competitors were, but someone tracked it was 6 weeks in a row they ran the same match back.
Probably Damian Priest and John Morrison.
It was ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. That's what they do here.
And the thing is, with the rematches, you could almost say it's all right if there's an end goal. You know, because you think back to WCW, and you had the Chris Benoit, Booker T, Best of 7 series. You even had in WWE, Cesaro and Sheamus, their Best of 7 series, right? So there was an end goal when they were doing all these matches. Also, if you're going to do those matches and not do a series, let's have some different stipulations. I can't just say it's them wrestling again. You know, like, make it a cage match, make it a last man standing, make it a night quit. If you're going to keep doing the matches, make it different. Because if
give us a damn
not,
reason to care. Give us a reason to care.
It's just, they're bad. Bruce Pritchard is the biggest idiot in pro wrestling. And Vince McMahon is just on cruise control. He doesn't care. And Triple H damn near died, unfortunately. So.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that later. Hashtag Tweet the Table coming out of at the Rebel Trucker says, hashtag Tweet the Table. What a tag title match. I'm far from a fan of the Young Bucks, but I got to give both teams credit. They both laid it all on the line tonight. Hashtag AEW all out. And I couldn't agree more. We've lamented their style, both these teams' style, even though I think we like the Lucha Brothers, but not the Young Bucks. I still wouldn't say I'm a fan of the Lucha Brothers style for the most part. It's their charisma and their presentation that I like. But, yeah, these two did everything here to near perfection. It's just exquisite. It was long. I'm going to say it was long.
You know what? After talking to a local pro wrestler who I will not name because I don't want to put his business out there like that, but after he mentioned something to me, I rewatched the match, and that match again, an all-time great. But one thing where they get a little bit sideways on is you see Rey Fenix jump from the cage, onto the Young Bucks and Rey Fenix, or excuse me, and Penta. And Penta just jumps up and is like, I'm good. They're hurt, but I'm not. Yeah, right? Little detail that we could have fixed. However, the shoe with the thumbtacks, by the way, I am not in the shoe community, but I have friends who are, who do not know anything about pro wrestling, but they know they hate the Young Bucks because what they're doing to these shoes.
Yeah.
Apparently the shoes on Sunday was a Travis Scott something or other Air Force Ones, and they were pissed that they put thumbtacks and used it in a match. So credit to them for doing that.
Yeah.
And yes, I will tip of the cap right here. Look at this right there to the Young Bucks, because yes, for the longest time that this podcast has been on air and in your ears, I've hated those fucking guys. I've hated those fucking guys. I don't hate them as much. I'll say
agree.
that.
I'll agree.
They're
I
winning
can
me over.
appreciate that. Here's what I've said. Either there's one of two things going on here. Either they like really, 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 really are just the worst and I hate them, or I hate them and also they're one of the best heels ever because they've worked me into a shoot of hating them. You know what I mean? Like, and hey, I'm willing to give them credit if it's the latter, right? Because goddamn, I hate them.
Yeah. One thing though that
Yeah.
I think also elevates their status is their friends love to put them over. They might be the best guys backstage, but you hear all of their friends saying that that's the best tag team in the world. And so kind of just through like, well, if he says it, I guess it's true. And that kind of elevates them. The other thing I'll say, and this is a very slight criticism, is as you mentioned, that match was long.
It was long.
And if you're in a structured company where you're not the vice president, I don't know if you can do that match if it's not the main event. You know what I'm saying? So, look, let's have a little bit more structure, right? If you're given 20 minutes, let's not do 32. You know what I mean? So, again, fantastic match. I loved it because of this guy right here getting his special moment with his kids afterwards. And if you're watching the YouTube channel, you know what I'm talking about here. So I'm not even going to say his name. But when he got his special moment with his kids, he ran up with Rey Fenix and they did the whole thing. Loved it. I even loved the intro, or excuse me, the entrance. Remember the entrance?
Oh, yeah.
With the zero minute. And the rapper, the Mexican rapper, credit to you for knowing how to hold a microphone. God, that made me so happy. You held a microphone like a professional. You didn't hold it where your thumb's over your mouth and then no one understands what the fuck you're saying. Perfect entrance. Loved it. Loved the presentation of the Lucha Bros.
Yeah,
Awesome.
listen to that MC radio performer.
Oh,
coming
it's
back
the
at it.
it's
worst.
the
I know.
worst.
When they hold any part of
When
that. Hey, if you're on the windscreen at all, you're wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Get off of that.
Get off of it.
Here's
I don't
another
know
tip. Here's another
what
pro
the
tip.
fuck.
You don't need to yell into the mic ever. The microphone is what yells for you. Mm-hmm. Right? That's
Yeah. Now, if you're
microphone
getting
does it.
animated and you're mad, okay, right? But if you're yelling your lyrics because, like, you don't, that's the microphone.
I got all kinds of vocal tips on how to elevate you without you yelling
Right. Yeah.
forcefully into them. Anyway, let's get back to hashtag tweet the table. At Katie First Lady says, I'm hearing the hashtag tag team turmoil match is good on hashtag Raw tonight, but quite honestly, I'm watching hashtag AEW All Out again. I'm not even sorry. Hashtag tweet the table.
I
Not
think
even
that's
sorry.
I think that's the sentiment of everyone this week. I didn't watch Raw. I didn't. I saw one viral clip where I believe John Morrison sprays Karrion Kross with his water stick. But I watched All Out again because in the moment I loved it so much, but there were so many little details. By the way, the CM Punk Darby Allin match I learned was basically a homage, paying homage to the Bret Hart 1-2-3 Kid match, which I didn't know, and so I rewatched it for that.
So let me tell you how great and validating it felt to know that CM Punk, when he wants to make a tribute to somebody he thinks was like a important, mentor-like person, it's Bret fucking Hart. Because how fitting was how fitting that he would admire and aspire to be Bret Hart.
Yeah, when Punk is Bret Hart's age, I think if we're still doing this podcast, we're going to be making the same. I probably will have
recycle.
Yeah, I'll probably have a same impression of
like
Hart
we could
that
do
I
where
know
they
Punk.
showed like the Bret Hart match and the Punk match, and we'll just do like, here's T-Mac shitting on Bret Hart. Here's Punk.
Yeah, that's a pretty
circle,
spot on.
baby.
Yeah, pretty spot on. That guy is your hero in pro wrestling. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, back into hashtag Truth Table again. Play along, or you're wrong. At AUC Cata says, how many fucking times do Natalya and Tamina need to lose before they actually lose their tag team championships? Hashtag Raw, hashtag Truth Table. Well, it's many more times before they get another tag team.
Well, but this is the thing that's the stupidest thing about WWE right now is this championship contenders match where you've got to fight the champion to beat him to then fight him again the next week. That's, we were talking about how referees never get, the decisions overturned in the moment, right? There's never been in any combat sport ever. There's never been beat the champion, then you get a championship match.
There's been times where people beat the champion and you go, okay, well, maybe
it's
they
a rematch.
deserve a title. Right, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, but you've never beaten,
or just let's say it's a non-title, it's not, the championship's not on the line, or when he took the fight, he won the champion, so they're not putting the title up against you, but you beat him, everybody goes, oh, well, shit, he should get a shot at the thing. It comes naturally sometimes, perhaps, but it doesn't there's never to earn the match. You know what I mean?
You got to beat him, and then you got to beat him again.
We don't do that with again, other sports. All right, to be the Super Bowl champs, you got to beat last year's Super Bowl champs first. Prove that you're able to beat them, and then we'll play the Super Bowl. It just doesn't.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Hashtag Tweet the Table to keep me honest here. But we don't even do that with video games, right? When you beat the final boss, you don't have to beat him again. When you beat the third level of Mortal Kombat, you don't have to then do it again to get to the fourth level. It makes no fucking sense. Who thought this was a good idea?
So, and here's what I'm going to say out of all of that. Again, here's WWE missing even the most, they're so out of touch that they miss maybe perhaps the only salvageable thing out of something like this. Tamina is starting to figure out that you can use facial expressions and have some swagger, and she's putting in some of the best work I've seen. I did see a little snippet of this Raw match, and she's cutting people off in the corner, and she's just like, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? She's got a fucking, I'm gonna fucking toss you into, she's got a little bit of that come at me, bitch. And I'm like, God damn it, that's what you need. We've never seen that. We've seen every fucking tag team match in the world. Do something with that. Hone in, focus, hyper focus on that, and write it until we get bored again.
But then they have them lose.
So here's what, it's just WWE misses this, and AEW is great about it, is that part of the reason I enjoy it, I'm a fan and a spectator of pro wrestling, is that I know that crowd has the potential of being hot, right? And that's part of the ruckus, right? You'll be there, you'll experience it, and even when you're watching live, that's half of the fun of the show more often than not. Mm-hmm. And WWE has just milked all of that out of their crowd because they want specific things that people don't want. And WWE goes well, it's hard for us to market against that because it's flighty and it jumps around. But tough, that's the reason we fucking like it, is because we've got a bit of a fucking choose your own adventure going on here.
Yeah. I would say, to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, the biggest difference that I noticed from watching an AEW show, even Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, to a lesser extent, because they obviously don't have the crowds that AEW have. But those three promotions, in comparison to WWE, is those three promotions are saying, hey, we're going to throw a lot of shit at you. We want to know what you like and what hits with you. And then we're going to find out, right? We're going to run with MJF, right? Because MJF started off wrestling Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy, and now he's, had a title shot with Jericho, right? Where WWE says, we want Edge to be our top guy as a babyface, and we're like, man, that's not that
that's not cool.
Try him as a heel. No, we want Edge as a babyface, and we're gonna get over the word grit. He's gonna say grit every other sentence. That's what we want. And then we're like, and they go, no, that is what you want. And it's like, stop telling me what I want.
Case in point, I don't think they did this week, but I complained to you off air one day about, I think 4 weeks in a row, I heard a different person go, I've always wanted to do this. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. And I'm like, you ran the same script 4 weeks in a row. I know 4 different people didn't individually all want to do this always, because nobody's ever fucking welcomed us to Raw before. So how would they have wanted to do it when they didn't think it was a fucking thing? Like, but no, they just hammer fisted over and over again. I'm really surprised I didn't hear it this week. I was like, oh my God. Like, they didn't do it.
And it's force fed, but it's force fed and they're still getting bad reactions and they're just plowing through. Nope. Like, it's one thing with Orange Cassidy, right? Orange Cassidy does his hands in the pockets. But as we got back out on the road, we're seeing people are still liking it, right? It's maybe not what it was last year or the year before that, but people are still like, oh, right? If he was in WWE and we didn't like the hands in the pocket, WWE say, do it the first thing. Make sure they know that they're seeing you put your
feels
hands in
like
the pocket.
their business model is like Stockholm Syndrome. They're like, we're going to keep doing it until they like, you know what, it's not that bad.
Yeah, okay, it's
not
Johnny
long.
Drip Drip. It's Drip Drip. It's
But, yeah,
okay.
it's drip. Hey, you know what, man? That's one of the few things.
No, that sucks.
It's by proxy. It's because, like, if you got to sit there and watch everything else, you're kind of like, all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right,
moved
exactly.
a little.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. A day-old cookie doesn't look too bad when it's sitting next to shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, on the flip side of that, what's not shit? At Devil Vam says, Mox is so smart, flipping him over for the finish rather than hurting Suzuki again. Brilliant. Hashtag tweet the table. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. So, yeah, they're going in on Moxley. Like you said, he's better than Japan.
Well, here's my only criticism, and we saw this a little bit in WWE, where Moxley finds a little bit of a rhythm of a match that he likes, and then he starts kind of autopilot the match, right? So what we saw in WWE was that he bounces off the second rope and he does the clothesline. We saw that every fucking time, and we're like, could you not, right? And he's gotten away from that. The thing I'm noticing now, where I'm like, let's tighten it up, is his finisher is just now a suplex. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a DDT anymore. We're just going suplex, double arm suplex. And that's fine, but that's not the move. So do the move. What the hell? So that's my criticism. And I know it's splitting hairs, but I've been noticing that the last few matches where it's like, no, it's a double arm DDT. Like, DDT him. I want you to hit his head on the mat, right? Like, do that. But no, suplex. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, what happened, by the way? I've watched it twice now and I still don't know exactly. Did you see what happened to Suzuki's eye? It was bleeding like a stuck pig.
I did not. No, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't catch what
hashtag
set that
tweet
off.
the table. Yeah, hashtag tweet the table if you saw. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. And speaking of hashtag tweet the table, we will get back into those. Sorry, pulling one up right now. At Katie First Lady again says, it's interesting how Punk and Cabana are working in the same company again. I'm guessing they haven't had any interaction since the legal issues. This would make a great storyline, in my opinion. Someone from Punk's past. Probably not going to happen, though. Hashtag AEW Dynamite, hashtag tweet the table. I don't know. We did Matt Hardy and Edge.
Yeah, we did. And that's a good example. That is a very good example. This has a little bit different of a tone to it because there's money.
Actual livelihoods at stake.
Yeah. Now, a couple things. One, Adam Blampier on Parts Unknown, the YouTube channel, which is in association with Wrestle Talk. He does a storyline where Punk debuts and he goes after Cabana.
The real Wrestle Talk.
What's the other?
There's a local Wrestle Talk podcast here in
Oh,
Kansas
yeah.
City.
Those are good guys, but no,
They're
Wrestle
good guys.
Talk in England. Yeah.
But Wrestle Talk.
Wrestle Talk
Yeah, right.
in England, right? But Adam Blampier does his like story, and he says, "I'm debuting Punk against Cabana." Watch that; it's pretty good. I liked it a lot. It was credit to him. Now, the other thing that I've seen is I don't know where this clip came from. There's so many vlogs right now. Ethan Page has one. Sammy Guevara. There's obviously the Young Bucks and all their stuff. One of them. There's a round table, you know, where like the Dark Order meets in that little horseshoe
love it.
booth,
Yes.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they're answering questions and someone says, "Hey, Cabana, Are you excited that CM Punk is coming to AEW? And Orange Cassidy is just like laying like poolside kind of behind him on top of the thing. And he just laughs. Like he breaks character and he had to like go off and like turn away from the camera because he was laughing so hard. So yeah, there's still some fresh feelings there. I don't know if we're going to do that.
Yeah, we're not. But yeah, and again, I think Cabana is just not at that level right now to be like one of the people Punk is taking on. You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, you could easily do it, right?
Oh yeah,
a bump backstage. What the hell?
Well, especially as part of the Dark Order, get them involved. Oh my God.
Which, by the way, again, I don't know the tweet tables that we're doing here. Are we talking about the Dark Order? Because I want to.
We'll have to bring
it
up, but nobody's brought it up. But we've got one more tweet the table, so we can bring it up after that. You want to do that?
Okay, yeah, let's do that then. Yep.
Yeah, because again, we're the voice of the voiceless here. We let you be the producer. We talk about what you want to talk about first, right? Fuck Tom. It's just don't let him speak first. We're gonna let
Okay.
First, before Tom gets to speak, it's at AUC Canada. He says, can somebody please tell Taz how to pronounce Malachi Black? Hashtag AEW Rampage. Hashtag tweet the table. Hey, you're not going to get all of that through to Taz. He doesn't got time. I mean, like, what
a mean take.
Yeah. Well, listen, like Taz is going to be like, oh, it's what? Yeah, all right, man, listen, I got shit going on here. Like, I'm going to call him what the fuck I'm going to call him. You know what I'm fucking talking about. You got to make something of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I picture Taz going like, listen, I get the fucking, listen, jerk off. I get his fucking name right. Like, I'm going to fucking, like, I fuck it up once in a while. What, you fucking, your ass ain't Rosie Fresh? You want to fucking take it outside?
Which, credit to him during the MJF promo, just co-signing everything MJF was saying about Cincinnati. Yeah. He's like, yeah, the Reds suck. Yeah. And just like, yeah, this town is horrible. Like, I like the little things that he was doing. Now, he stayed off of it when it got a little bit too serious, right? When we're talking about those real topics.
Like, yeah, abortion.
Right, yeah, exactly. But when it was talking about the Reds and the Skyline chili and those things, yeah it was pretty good. That
chili.
Have you ever had this?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
I've
never
cinnamon,
heard of it.
Right? It's just cinnamon.
I don't know.
I think. Yeah.
I've heard of Skyline Chili. One of my favorite all-time fighters was from Cincinnati, so that was one thing that he would bring up in interviews. So it's like something I've been aware of.
I'm not going to tell you it's terrible, right? But it's just kind of one of those where it's like it feels like a gimmick.
Okay. So is it okay? So Skyline Chili is a restaurant or it's a style of chili?
It's a style of chili. I think they add cinnamon to the chili, like a bunch of cinnamon. So I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's not like you get it, but it's it like makes a little more sweet and savory mix kind of a thing. You know what I mean? All those cinnamons. Yeah, you know.
Okay.
And hey, listen, fact check me, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, if there's like technically cinnamon, you know, fucking butter or whatever.
Cinnamon
like,
and brown sugar. It's cinnamon and brown sugar, and then that's what you put in there.
A little sprinkle of cardamom, you fucking dick. Whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking know what it is.
I'll look it up later. We don't fact check here, but okay. Good to know what it was. I always thought it was a restaurant. Like, I thought it was like we have to go there to get the go to the restaurant, but okay. It's a style of chili.
I mean, there may be a restaurant. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about Cincinnati. What the fuck am I going to do there? All right. They breed badasses, apparently. That's all what I know.
Well, what a depressing sports town, though. The Bengals. You realize that no one has ever tweeted no one has ever texted a Bengals victory because the last time they had a playoff victory, text wasn't around. Fuck them. I like Joe Burrow, but fuck them. And then the Reds. Well, the last player you've had that was good was Barry Larkin. I mean, you got Joey Votto. He's decent, but like, goddamn. And then what else is in Cincinnati?
Oh, I'm sure there's a minor league hockey team.
Okay, yeah, probably. But those are the two sports teams, right? Those are the two major ones?
We probably pissed off somebody who's like favorite team is the minor league.
Yeah.
The fucking Cincinnati
Cool Cats. I love the Trash Dogs.
I love the fucking Cincinnati Cool Cats, man.
I like the Trash Dogs.
The Trash Dogs.
Yeah, that second baseman, he can throw it. He can throw it well to that first baseman. Trash Dogs.
Listen to us. All right. Okay, so what?
That's what we got for Tweet the Table?
That is what we got for Tweet the Table. So again, if you want to play along, you should play along, because if you're not playing along, you're wrong. And
I like that.
we give you the stage. We let you talk to the world first. But now that's done. Now it's not fuck Tom. Now it is like, Tom, fuck, let's do this. What do we got,
so
Tom?
let's do some quick hits. So as I mentioned, Colt Cabana, Dark Order. Now on Dynamite, we saw a 6-man tag. It was the Dark Order versus Shawn Spears and FTR. I'm finding, before we get into the Dark Order, one thought that just came to my mind as I was saying that out loud. I found it interesting that they didn't, because when they said it's the Dark Order, it's the Dark Order. They don't say John Silver, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson. It's just the Dark Order. I'm noticing, though, with Pinnacle, they're starting to just say it's FTR and Shawn Spears, or it's FTR and Wardlow, or it's Shawn Spears and Ward. Like, they're not saying the Pinnacle as much.
Yeah.
Maybe they're drifting away from that. But anyhow, the Pinnacle gets the victory. After the match, Evil Uno says, hey, Guns and Poses, you fucked up. Pushes him. Stu Grayson, or then John Silver pushes Evil Uno. Stu Grayson hits John Silver. Colt Cabana comes in. 10 comes in. What's happening to the Dark Order?
Dude, this is so sad. Now, listen, I know, like, for them to stay relevant and fun and somebody we care about, like, they have to have storylines. And so, like, they need something, right? Rather than just bumbling around doing nothing. But, like, man, I hope this, like, doesn't actually split. I do like the idea. I think you floated this idea of one of them being the Dark Order Wolf Pack for a while.
Yeah.
Like, and doing that whole,
yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah,
like,
I think that'd
like
be fun.
even if they're like, well, listen, we're not breaking up.
Yeah.
We're just gonna we're gonna hang out for a little while. You guys hang out for a while. We'll just need some space. We'll be the Dark Order Wolf Pack, and they're red and black versus purple and black, right? And then you're coming out and they're
I think that'd be fun.
doing chants and stuff. Oh.
And then if the elite
so
or
hear me out. You got Colt Cabana, Johnny Hungy. Who else would be in the Wolf Pack version, right? The like ham it up crowd.
But they have split it up. So I believe it's Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana on one side, and then it's John Silver, 5 and 10 on the other side.
I think that's a weird mix. I think you'd put all the if you're gonna do the Dark Order Wolf Pack, you want all the fun guys on one. But
right.
Anyway.
But Alex Reynolds has left the Dark Order. He's not a part of them right now. The other thing that I thought was interesting.
That guy felt like he wasn't supposed to be there.
No, he's a recruiter, Tim.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
One thing that I thought
everybody
was
belongs in the Dark Order
is the crowd was chanting no the entire time they were fighting. They're like, no. Also, key detail is before the match, Anna Jay was like, hey, straighten this shit out. Then they start fighting. Her and Tay Conti comes out, and they're like, what the hell's going on? Tay Conti, not Dark Order. What is she doing?
Here's a fun thing they could do, right? So, we want Hangman to come in and save the day and take the things away from Kenny Omega, right? Take the title away. He's going to ride in to save the day, but he's going to realize that, a more important matter is at hand first because
that's what's happening.
Family matters first.
Yep.
He's going to help the Dark Order realign, and then it's on to business with the full power behind him.
So that's
we all love
him. And then we get the Kenny Omega Hangman in December.
He's going to ride him for Omega, and he's going to be like, I'm back now. And then he's going to realize what is going on here? What happened? They're going to be like, no, don't worry about it. Go do your match. Just right. And he'll be like, no.
This is my
family
match.
Matters first. Yeah. Right? Yeah. This is my biggest competition right now is the thought of you guys breaking apart. Yeah. Oh.
But here's how we can get more dissension though. This is where I think it's a little interesting. Again, Tay Conti, when Anna Jay was hurt, was like the pseudo female Dark Order, but she never joined, right? She's not claws up. I think we're gonna see her maybe play some of these guys. Maybe gets in the ear of 10 and says, well, why would you listen to John Silver?
One of them joined the Hardy family office?
Oh, no. We don't want, no. If anyone joins another faction, I want them to join the Wingmen. That's the faction we need to be doubling down on. Fuck the Hardys.
Wingmen is so great.
Yeah.
Ruby Soho debuted.
Well, Ruby Soho. Here's another thing I was going to mention about the refs. How we talked about earlier, where Bryce was fucking over Eddie Kingston, and then Aubrey Edwards messed up the 3 count. Easy, take it easy. So Ruby won her battle royal, right?
Yep.
The casino battle royal. She hugs Bryce, and that's fine because you're probably caught up in the moment. I can forgive some things. It was after the match, not before the match, so I'm okay, right? But then if you noticed, she wins on Dynamite against Jamie Hayter. First thing she does is hug the ref again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Stop
this
that.
improper relationship.
Yes,
let's talk
that's
about
what I think
the
we're gonna do.
Casino Battle Royal here. I don't mind the format of the 4 suits, but if you're gonna do the entrances, do each entrance. Let me watch them all, stage them, and then like release them all at once on thing, because like you're having entrances go off while the like fighting's going on. Part of the whole allure of the wrestling thing is like people get it like, oh my God, it's this person, or cheer for that person, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I like that we're getting it done quicker, right? Because when you bring out 5, well, fucking, all right, there we go. That's shit I don't have to wait around for.
Or go no entrances. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with that.
But then that's the hard thing, because does only the Joker get the entrance, right? Like, it's difficult. I think what you should do...
Yeah, what about the first 5 people? That feels weird.
Yeah. I think what you should do is just do 1 minute each, and then you have the rest period where they're actually wrestling, and then the next suit 1 minute each, right? So you should be able to do a fucking intro in 1 minute, right? A whole entrance should not take longer than a minute. So you get your shit in, you get in the ring, you go.
Well, and that's as simple as they drew each suit, but then whatever they ranked in the number that they drew in the suit is who goes first.
Right.
And then they get a minute, and then who goes second, they get a minute,
Yeah.
who goes third, they get a minute. Yeah, that's even better. Goddamn
That's
hires.
how. Yeah, they just need to slow that down, but then give us the time to wrestle before the next card is called.
Hey, let's talk about something we did yesterday. We went to Up Down Kansas City arcade bar here, friends of the show, and we commentated the matches for their Nintendo 64 WWF No Mercy tournament with $100 on the line. Tom even competed in it.
Went 2-2.
2-2.
I wanted to go 0-4.
Yeah, double elimination tournament. Well, you wanted to go 0-2. You wanted to go 0-2.
Yeah, but
2-2.
Kept winning.
And Trinity, the final boss, stood
of
tall.
Course. I know.
Guy could play that game in his sleep.
What
a dream. Super great time, though, that we had there. Great guys. We got to see Niles Planquet, Miranda Gordy, Michael Strider was hanging out, which is always a blast. Marty Party was there. And, of course, we were there.
It was fun. It was a great
cool
time.
Party.
We got an event for them coming up
September
in a couple
25th.
weeks. Yep. There it is, September 25th.
Camelot Ballroom, Overland Park.
Woo! Come on with it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
War.
You got Jeremy Wyatt, who I think is one of the better wrestlers in the area. And then you got legend, Mouth South, Jimmy Hart coming in. Meet and greet with him. That'll be fun.
Jimmy Hart. So I hope they got some cocaine ready. All right, never mind.
Hey.
I mean, Jimmy.
Well, so now let's get into the other fun thing from the weekend, though. So we hosted that event. That was fun. We got to see some of the wrestlers.
Before we talk about that, let's talk one more thing. We did briefly mention it. Sounds like Triple H had a heart attack. And so we heard all this, like, NXT is going to be run by McMahon and Bruce. That makes a little bit more sense of, like, okay, where is Triple H? Like, we were all like, what happened there? And then...
I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that nothing happened, but it seems too matter of fact business to where I don't think it's as serious as
I don't think he like keeled over, but I think like it was probably one of those like, hey man, my fucking heart's not fit. And they're probably like,
I think they probably just ran a scan and saw some blockage and said, hey, this looks like a genetic defect from, your father or your mother, whatever it is. Hey, let's just clear that out. Now it's the heart, so that's fucking scary. And then we just, we're in and out. My dad had heart surgery and told me the day after. He was like, it's no big deal. I'm like, it's heart surgery.
It's heart.
Whatever. They went through the wrist. They did this whole thing. It's fine. I was like, motherfucker, tell me that shit before. And so I think that's why they did it is like, hey, we owe the
they didn't give any indication that like people weren't like, please send thoughts and prayers or anything.
Right. But again, they're a publicly traded company. And if one of their executives may not be doing too great, I think it in good faith to tell their stakeholders what the hell's going on. I just don't think it's Triple H might die next week. It's just, one of those things.
Boy, wouldn't it be the thing that Vince McMahon would outlive Triple H?
Dude, Vince McMahon's mom is still alive. Do we not realize that? Like, he's not dying anytime soon. His company is, but he's not. Like,
he might outlive the company.
I'm telling you, like, I feel like this whole consensus is that Vince is going to die in 2 years. His mom's still alive.
Wouldn't it
He's
be
got
the
good
thing
genetics.
that like we say that like he legit killed the industry? Like we always say that like he killed the industry along the way to making
No,
WWE
well,
what it was.
He isn't.
But then he wouldn't kill the industry, but like then he killed his own company. Like, you know what I mean? Like it crushed under right before he died. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
Now that could easily happen. Another thing, though, as we're just kind of spitballing topics here, it's quick hits to recap and end the show here. We bitched about the minds in pro wrestling. I think when Dusty Rhodes passed away, because we're like, that sucks. Or no, it was when Pat Patterson passed away, because we're like, damn it, because it was Dusty Rhodes, it was Pat Patterson, and we're like, those guys are so great, but now we're losing valuable minds in the pro wrestling industry. I just want to say this, and again, I'm a prisoner of the moment, but I think if this keeps going with the track record he's developing, Tony Khan, if you do another 2 years of this kind of storytelling, he's the booker, right, of AEW. If you have a 5-year run that's just incredible moment after incredible moment, you got to put him up there with the Paul Heymans, because, ECW is, again, my favorite promotion of all time. Not anymore. It's AEW. And ECW wasn't around for that long. It wasn't as if you've got to do 15 years to overtake ECW. So, Tony Khan, credit to you for all the creative brilliance you're putting out. And again, I know you're probably collaborating with the wrestlers and things like that. It's a group project here, but you're the coach. So, credit to you.
So now, before AEW All Out, there was an event. Because, every 3 days, GCW does an event. And
sure feels that way.
We had AEW All Out War. Or it was not All Out War. No, that's the Dynamic Wrestling Federation's program. It was AEW Art of War Games. Excuse me.
There it is.
Mixing up my pro wrestling companies, man. Tom. So many of them now. Art of War Games. And wow. I mean, we know what GCW brings you, and it's not for the faint of heart, right?
Mm-mm.
And they delivered on all of that, and the War Games was intense, but there was bigger news coming out of that at the end.
Well, hold on. Before we get to the end, I do want to say kudos, because he announced it on his Twitter page. That was his last death match. But Ricky Shane Page, that was his last death match as of, pro wrestling's pro wrestling.
He took a hell of a toss off of the
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
he went out in a blaze of glory for his death match career. Again, we don't know. He told us off air, not in front of anyone, like, I'm not doing deathmatch anymore. So it seemed legit. But credit to him for going out, like I said, in a blaze of glory, again, with Nick Gage, 440, all the stuff. It was fantastic. So I want to say kudos to him before we get into the main event. Now let's talk about it. The main event. Matt Cardona coming out like WrestleMania 7 Macho King, except it's Deathmatch King.
Yeah.
And has an open challenge. Yeah, anyone can come out
for his Universal Championship.
Yeah,
that he's got spinner with purple colors and Velcro and
great. And
so great.
Who's gonna answer? And we have someone come out. I believe it was. Oh, it's the guy. Oh, he wears the fun mask. I can't think of his name right now. But anyhow, he's not important right now in this story. He comes out, and so Matt Cardona's thinking it's going to be him. A black hooded character comes out from behind, starts doing the John Moxley thing like Cardona did to Nick Gage. Mm-hmm. And it's Moxley.
It's Moxley. So, he brought out the, druids or whatever this guy does. And I forget his name off the top of my head right now, too. But, and my only criticism of that was, Cardona, one-punched the whole crew away, right? They tuck their tail and run, and which gets him in the, so I'm talking about punks? Chumps, get out of here. And then behind does the Moxley, which is, again, storytelling of the you know what I mean? The callbacks is great. So, love that. And then it's Moxley, and he wins. Apparently, that's the open challenge match, which was weird to me, right? I was like, wait a minute, I thought we just did the open challenge, right? I was lost. But here we are. Moxley's now holding the title. What happens to the Universal Championship? Nick fucking Gage comes out to confront Moxley, which was a stare down from... Loved it.
It was G-Raver.
Yes,
that's who it was.
G-Raver.
Right. That's who it was. I had to make sure that we got his name. He is scary, by the way. Very scary. Gives me nightmares. But so John Moxley takes out Matt Cardona. He's now the GCW Heavyweight Championship. A detail that we didn't talk about at All Out, as Moxley was making his way to the ring, wearing a GCW hoodie. So that forbidden door is crushed.
Well,
I thought that was
there's a Moxley promo where he's like, listen, I want this thing. He's like, I wanted this because of what it means He's like, doesn't mean much, but I'm going to make it mean something. Like, this is bait to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, this is for you. Like, you got to come get this, right? Like, oh, I loved it.
So October 9th, we're going to get Nick Gage versus Jon Moxley. But here's the elephant in the room. Matt Cardona.
I know. I was so upset that they pulled this trigger, though, because Cardona is doing some of the best work ever. Like, of any heel that I've seen. Like, this harkens back to, like, Piper days of him just, like, getting that.
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman level heat where just, like, they're going to kill this guy. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to stab him out there. And, I mean, with a broken beer bottle. It's not even going to be, like, a clean cut. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a rusty razor blade, man. I need more of this Cardona character.
But maybe that's why they took a left turn, because they're like, okay, hold on. We want to continue to do shows every day. Like, we don't want our... It seems that way, right?
We do a live stream in a different city across the nation every day.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Tampa, Colorado Springs, New York, right? It's like every other day. It's like, goddamn, guys, slow down.
I think if you look at the schedule, October 9th, they have 2 shows. I think they're doing a Jersey show, and then they're doing the show with Moxley and
GCW delivers action. I will give them that.
Oh,
they fucking deliver action.
But, so what do you think happens here? I know we don't do predictions from GCW, but I think Matt Cardona is not done. I don't think he was a transitional champion where he just did the fun stuff and now he goes to Impact and we never see him again. So what do you think happens?
Think he gets it back?
I think we may get a triple threat. GCW feels like a promotion that where it's on the spot.
So here's what it is. He comes in, he interrupts to where neither can continue. We get a no contest. It becomes a triple threat at the next thing with Cardona still, like, just trying to do Act 2. Like, I'm going to get that fucking thing back. Or I would even love if Cardona starts going around and be like, okay, you won the GCW World title, but, like, you didn't get the Universal title. And he's still out there and everybody's like, fuck this guy. And they're like, no, I got to take that title off him because fuck that guy. And he's like, nah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Bitch. Right? Like,
I just think, I think we're going to have him, this is my prediction. I think we're going to have him some way grab Nick Gage's leg, do something that cost Nick Gage the match. Moxley wins. Moxley's not aware that Matt Cardona did the thing. So now he says, I got to kick Nick Gage's ass again because I didn't really win. And then Matt Cardona, you're getting your ass in here. And then at the next pay-per-view, whatever that is, October 10th, then we're going to do the triple threat the next night. And then it's going to be, that's the payoff, I think. Nick Gage, I think, pins Matt Cardona. Jon Moxley then says, all right, I gave you 2 matches. Now I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston and go for the tag titles or do something in AEW. I think Cardona stays in GCW a while.
I hope so.
I think so. I hope so. Yeah, I agree.
If he doesn't, wherever he goes, I hope he can catch that. Like, he, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
he can't.
But he can't.
Like, he can't.
He can't.
That's the crowd that you do it.
Yeah.
The only other crowd that I think he could possibly get close to with that kind of heat, and it's just because they're the type of fans that would do it out of respect, is an AEW. Is if he came back around dressed like Macho Man or dressed like Vince and did goes after Cody or something like that.
Oh no, they cheer the Young Bucks.
Yeah, but we would boo like we boo MJF, right?
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah, but the actual heat is only happening where he's at.
Yeah.
It's so because of the built-up career and the characters that he was and what he represented and meant. Like, you can't replicate that anywhere else. Like, GCW was trying to be anti-everything that, and here comes this guy, and he's like, but let's make it this. I am that.
Let's make it that. Yeah.
And I'm better than you. Right? Like, oh, so great. But you know what else is great? This show, AEW All Out. We got Rampage tomorrow. I'm getting excited for that.
Well, let's talk about that real quick before we get out of here. Rampage, we got the big episode where it's Andrade versus Pac. What do you think happens there?
Andrade.
Shenanigans or straight up?
Shenanigans, but I don't think we're going to get, I think now that the Lucha Bros have the tag titles and they're on high, we're not going to get that whole thing where they turn on Pac or anything. So I just think, I think he'll win, but it's the glasses dude who, crushes a briefcase back of his head or something.
Yeah, it just feels like that had such good momentum, and because of a travel issue now kind of falls flat.
Sometimes things are out of your control and you're like, oh man, what could have been? You got to try again. Get another storyline going somewhere down the road.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, if you're listening to this or watching this on a Thursday night, Rampage is going to be tomorrow night. I will be doing my instant reaction. Join me on the YouTube channel. Chat with me there, and also leave a comment if you have to watch later. And love to hear from you. But I'm going to give you my instant reaction to a 1-hour show. Love 1-hour wrestling.
All right. So once again, you could have been a part of this show. All you had to do was use hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter, and we would have read your thoughts at the start of this show. So as a reminder, and we'll leave you with that. If you're not playing, If you're not playing along, you're wrong.
The Spanish announce table.